Hello everyone, I'm Gusevak and my team members are John and William. John's strength was UI and JSP development. He also was responsible for servlets, and along with that he kept track of how far along the project we were. William was responsible for the API and that we used to send emails and the DAOs. He was also responsible for keeping a check on the team coordination, where the team was coordinating properly and the team communication was proper. As for me, I was mainly responsible for assigning issues on GitHub and making issues, and my strengths were JUnit and Selenium. Metrics and measurements. Our first metric was defect removal efficiency. That is how many bugs we find during the development of code rather than after delivering the code. So for our first iteration, we had no data on how much bugs we would find after delivering the code. So our DRE for first iteration was 1. But for second iteration, we found that we had 9 bugs in our iteration 1 that we had to fix during development of iteration 2. So our DRE fell quite low to about 0.68. That's about 68%, and it was about same for iteration 3. For iteration 4, we would like to bring it to about 85% so that we can make it our code as much bug free as we possibly can. Uh, and our second metric was metric of maintainability. That is how maintainable and compatible our code is. For first iteration, and we didn't pay much attention to the structure of the code because of a lot of time spent on setup, and that's why we had to assign a number of 3 that is quite low. But for second and third iteration, we try to improve on that and try to make more our classes more uh, loosely coupled and cohesive. And so we decided to give it these a number of 5 and 7. For iteration 4, I don't think we could go over 7.5, or we would like to go over 7.5, but it would require us to redevelop our iteration 1 or refactor a lot of code in iteration 1. So our ideal would be to get to 7.5 or something like that. Our third metric was review to development ratio. That is how many hours we spend on reviewing the code rather than developing it. So for first iteration, due to a lot of setup of Eclipse and uh, web dynamic web projects, we had to spend a lot of time on development. So that gave us about 74 0.74 uh, review to development ratio. But for iteration 2 and third, we focused on reviewing our code more so that we could find as many bugs as we possibly could, and that gave us RD of about 1.47 and 1.57 for iteration 2 and 3. For iteration 4, we would like to go to a number close to 2 so that we can squash as many bugs as possible. Moving on to the use cases, our first use case was the registration, login, and logout. So now I'm going to create a new user with test user as the full name and test username as a username. And this would be the email, and let's set a password. And this is the date of birth. And then you set an address for yourself, and then you press create user, and it creates a user and takes you to the login page. So you can enter your details and press login, and it takes you to your profile page. And the last thing in this was logout, so you can also log out. And if you are on login page and you have not created an account, then you can create an account by going here. Our second use case was admin management of products by admin. So once you go to the admin login page, you can enter your details. If you're an admin and you log into your profile, you can see your profile here, and then your username on the top. From here, you can see a bunch of options where you can see many products. You can list all the products that are there. So these are all the available cards. These are the physical products, and these are the products that you put on the card, that is the passes. So once you go back to your profile, you can add a new pass or add a new product, that is add a new card. So description, and you can enter a price and then the type. Then once you press add, it gets added here. You can delete it or you can edit it. You can change it to and you can also delete it, and it works the same for the passes. And let me show you that. And you can choose a pass duration, whether it's some weekly, monthly, or daily pass. So let me choose monthly, and pass type, whether it's a concession card or an adult pass. So you enter the price and press add, and it gets added here with this price, and then you can delete it. Our third use case was alert management by admin. So once you log into the admin profile, you can see a list of all alerts button and send out a new alert button. Once you send out a new alert, you can put in the description. Detail about the alert, and you can select the route which is affected by due to this alert, and then you create the alert. You're seeing shown the list of alerts where you can edit the alert. And you update it, and the update is shown here. You can also delete the alert. Our fourth use case was user management by admin. So on the admin profile, you can see manage commuters, and you can list all commuters or add a new commuter. Once you add a new commuter, you have to enter the details of the user you are adding, and then the address. Once you click on add, the user gets added, and it is shown in the user list. Then you can edit it, and the change is reflected here. You can also delete a user. Our fifth use case was alert subscription. So once you log into your profile page, you can see this alert subscription button. Once you click on it, you can see all the alerts that you can be subscribed to get email alerts for. Once I add an alert to my add a route to my subscription list, I will get email alerts for only those particular routes which I'm subscribed to, and I will not get any email alerts for any other route. I can also delete a subscription, and that's for route subscription. And one other thing I can do is link a card. So once I click on link a card, I put in the card number and the CVN for it. I press on link a card, and it gets linked to my account. I can unlink a card as well, and that's all for subscription. Our sixth use case was order placement and order management by admin. So for the user end, you can go to your profile and place an order. You can add as many quantity of the cards as you want, and then you can add to your cart, and you can also increase the quantity or decrease it or remove the order from it. So once you add an order, so it awaits approval from the admin. Once the order has been shipped out, the admin can approve the order from the admin end. So if we go to the profile page of admin, we can see order manage, and then we can see list of all orders. This is the order that I just created. I can increase the quantity, and I can approve it, or I can remove it. Once I approve it, the user gets an email that the order has been shipped out, and uh, admin can also create new orders. For each user, he can create the order, or if there is an order, he can manage his orders. So he can add an order for this user, and it's the same. He can delete or approve the order, and that was our project. Thank you.
Hello everybody, this is William. In our project, we use digital command board to create and manage our tasks. Let's take a look at our Kanban board on GitHub. In here, we can easily to see there are several columns on our Kanban board. To do, in progress, done, iteration 2 to do, and iteration 3 to do. At the to do column, we can create the cards, notes, policy, and routes for our project. We can convert the notes, convert the cards to issue. The issue is very important as a job, as a task. In here, we can in progress column, we can see there are two tasks, two issues. One is final presentation and another is making video. The final presentation is works on the iteration 4 and the presentation. The iteration 4 and the presentation as labels. The label is very important. It helps us to get the specific information of the issue. After we finish this task, we can move the task to another column to do like the done column, and if we finish, and also we can check how many tasks have been done. In here, we can easily to see 41 tasks have been done, and we can check how many tasks have been done in iteration 3 and how many tasks have been done in iteration 2. So every task we make the labels, and the label like this one, iteration 3 and the black box testing. Black box testing means specific the purpose, and iteration 3 that means the specific period. And the Kanban board offers us a good feature like this one is filter cards. We have a lot of cards to review, but if we just want to see the specific cards, we just set the condition here. For example, we set a label. Let's see if we just see the view the label in iteration 2, we just put a condition iteration 2. Then let's see, we just see the iteration 2. So the Kanban board is very useful, is very relaxable, and is also very visualized. The GitHub also offers us another way to create an issue. Let's take a look on the issue screen. In here, we can easily and direct to just click the new button to create an issue. And also on this screen offers us create a new label, create a milestone, and assign the issue to our member functions. After we create the issue on this screen, our Kanban board will automatically updated. That means synchronized. So this Kanban board is very good for our process, our project, and it is a good tool to process improvement. In iteration 2 and iteration 3, we have launched white box testing and black box testing. In our project, we use JUnix tool to process the component testing cases and integration testing cases. And also, we use the Selenium tool to process white box, black box testing to verify to our requirements of the project. When we processed the Selenium testing, we met a problem. Sometimes it was hard to get the test, get the error to do the comparison. So after we practiced several times, we found an easy way. Let's go to the web browser. When we go to browser, we click the F12. We can get the elements part. This part looks like the document tree. So if we want to get the data from this part, we just click this part, click here, and right click. We can get the copy selector or copy the express. In the Selenium tools, if we want to get the data, there are several ways, just such as get element by ID, get element by class name, get element by the tag name, get the element by selector, and express. So if we click here, we just copy the selector, and then we pass them to here. Then we get the text or get the value to do the comparison. After we process our project, we think the practice is the king. The practice can help us to learn more than just reading the book. So also in here, I want to introduce several tools we use to our project. The first of the tool is the UML tool. This is open source for drawing the diagrams such as user case and sequence case, state case, state sequence diagram, state diagram. And also the second one is screen record. These tools can help us to do the record easily. And also during the pandemic, we just make video individually, so we need to get a tool to combine together. So this is online converter is very simple to use. Let's go to online to web. We can see there's several buttons. Just click this one, put our individual videos in here, then get a merge. Then we got to put it together. For our group participation, we create the two measurements. One is times of commit for KB Connect on GitHub. So we can go to the command line, put the git short log -s. We can easy to get the numbers of times. That means how many times of the commit on our GitHub for each member. And also we depends on the responsibility on group project. So we measured our project group participation. For GUI is 40, for John is 30, for Weijun is 30. Thanks for listening.
My name is John Vianney Gunabo. I'm the last member of KB Connect. Today we'll start with the topic working in groups. I would first like to say it has been a great experience, learning experience, working on this project and with my teammates. Here are some key learnings. Work sharing based on strengths. We allocated and divided tasks and roles based on individual strengths. Accountability. We basically held each other accountable by delivering and completing each assigned tasks. Joint support. We provided technical support to each other all through development stages. Respecting opinions was a key point we came to understand while working on this project. Collaborative participation. We all worked together as we went along and carried each other along all through the project. The size of the team was 3. I would say this is a perfect size for this scope of this project. 2 people might be too small and might have too much workload, and if the team is more than say 4 or 5, is up to 4 or 5, it might be too large and a bit difficult to manage. What worked for us? Collective participation, joint support, sticking to deadlines, assigning tasks based on individual strengths, proper and frequent communication, hard work, which is the ultimate. We put in the time required and made sure we met deadlines and completed all assigned tasks. What did not work? Working alone, not completing assigned tasks. Next topic we would like to talk about are the lessons learned. Here are some principles we learned from the book. First, we talk about requirement engineering and gathering. This was one of the beginning phases for us, where we had to basically establish what the scope and the goal of the project, of the system was. So from the goal of the system and what we wanted to achieve with the system, we're able to highlight the key and necessary features and also able to design the structure required to build this feature. From the key features, we're able to derive the use cases. Next, building the analysis model, we identify the key entities and then put in necessary attributes and implemented necessary functions as well. The next principle we like to talk about is monitoring requirements. We make sure we monitor the requirements, make sure we stay on scope all through the project. Next lesson learned while working. The next lesson we'd like to talk about is while working in a team. Here are the key lessons we learned: reliability, joint support, and accountability. Software engineering processes learned. First, we'd like to talk about Scrum. This basically emphasizes on teamwork, communication, and iterative phasing. We had Scrum meetings, or we conducted Scrum meetings where we basically revealed activities of each team member, and then assign new tasks and also worked on future and current iterations. Kanban. We used a Kanban board to help manage workflow and also change. DevOps. This has to do with development and operation. We divided our development stage phases into 3 iterations, or we split it into 3 iterations. We also created automated testing to help us test features. We continually integrated new functionalities as we went on with development. All team members assisted and made sure to participate all through development stage and also help search for possible errors and problems. Errors encountered and challenges encountered rather. Technical setup of tools such as Tomcat, issues while black box testing and Selenium. The next topic is the course relevance. The software engineering course and the courses and the chapters covered so far in the program in the course were a great or were quite important while working on this project, but due to time, we're only going to mention a few. We would like to talk about the requirement modeling because this was a key part of the structure of our project. So first, we want to talk about the analyzing the requirement, the what, which is, as we spoke about earlier on, defining the goal and what the system would like to achieve and what it would like to achieve. So next, with that, we can go on to the scenario-based modeling where we create the use cases from the major features highlighted. Next, the class-based modeling. We identify the classes, we design the class models, and we also design CRC cards for each class. Behavioral modeling. We would like to use some examples to explain this. First, we would like to give an example of the login activity diagram. Here you can see basically the activity diagram illustrates the activity that goes on in a particular process. Here you can see first the user inputs his username and password and then submits for authentication. Depending on the result of the authentication, it either moves to the login page or returns back to the login either moves to the profile page or returns back to the login page and asks for the same password and username. Next is the state diagram. Here you can see the different states the process is in while it goes on in the system. So basically, you can see while the user puts in his username and password is in the reading state, while authentication is going on, is searching the database. Next, we want to look at the sequence diagram for still the user login. So basically, here you can see the activity, how the process act with the various components and the various codes of the system. So here you can see that once the user inputs his username and password to the browser, he inputs it to the browser. This sends the data to the login controller, which then instantiates the user DAO and then retrieves the user with this information, with this data from the browser. It retrieves the user from the database, returns it to the login controller, which then returns it to the browser and then ends the process. Cost improvement. I personally think we get a better understanding of this cost from practical projects. I would like to suggest more practical exposure. I would also like to suggest to cover more tools and new technologies. My advice for students taking this course is to make sure to be present in class and follow teaching from day one. Every class is important. Make sure to complete all labs and implement knowledge learned in labs in group projects. And lastly, and most importantly, participate in group projects. The group project for us was the most important part of learning on this course and it helped solidify understanding. This brings us to the end of our presentation. Thank you for your time and have a great day.